And what the Pel is up, everybody? This is Pelicans Plus with Elliot Clough at Elliot Clough on Twitter. Before we get started today, make sure that you subscribe, follow, depending on where you're listening into this podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts, you leave that rate and review on there. It really helps us out a lot. And tell a friend about the podcast. Also, this episode is brought to you by Hornitos. Hornitos, the official tequila of Pelicans Plus and Boot Crew Media. And if you're on the live stream, you can see there that I am joined by Burton of ESPN Lafayette, and joining us once again. He's been on a few roundtables and has crushed it. So he's had me on his show as well. And so we're bouncing back and forth, doing a little favor for each other. And especially when the team is this bad, it's really hard to create content. So,
that's a fact.
Having another voice in really helps us a lot. So, Lynn, how you doing, man?
Doing well, man. I mean, as well as one can, you know, I do think that, like you said, it is rough talking Pellies right now because everybody's just like, they're bad. And it's like, can we have a nuanced conversation? Yeah, we're bad, but like it's you see certain benefits that we've gotten just from having Brandon Ingram back. So it's like Zion's almost here. Let's just I'm still like, let's wait. So
yeah, man, and it's getting game by game, it's getting harder and harder to wait, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like and I might be a little bit more negative than the average Pels fan right now because I cover the UNI Panthers, Northern Iowa, because I'm in Iowa and that's part of my job up here that I just started. And I have a podcast for the athletics department. But like none of the traditionally good teams at UNI are good right now either. So this is kicking my ass, man. It's just like, and obviously, like we have to have that journalistic integrity, right? But we're invested in the sport and in these teams too. So yeah. I mean, balancing any level of optimism, but also, you know, keeping to
objectivity.
Yeah, right. It's just hard. It's just hard. And I mean, people who are diehards on Twitter are saying, "Man, it's getting harder and harder to watch this Pels team." Are you having trouble watching them?
Yeah, and look, I'll be honest, like, because I said this on my radio show, like, I watched the game against the Heat and the Wizards, but, like, the game before that I didn't watch. Like, I was just like, certain games I'm just missing, and it's like, I don't like that because it's like, I want to watch every game, but like you said, it's getting more difficult to watch, and, like, I've gotten, once Brandon Ingram came, like, I was like, all right, I'm going to pay more attention, but, like, it's just rough because it's like, this team plays hard, but why are they continually losing these games in these second halves? And it's just like, man, it's just I don't like to see people lose that much. Like it's really rough.
Right. And then they have these incredible starts where they're up whatever it is, 10, 20 going into the half, and then they just piss it down their leg.
I saw your tweet the other day, and that's why I was watching the game. I didn't even tweet about the Heat game. Yeah. I was just watching it. I saw you was like, let me not get excited. I was like, right. You can get excited. Like, you can get excited. I'm excited over here, but I'm not going to tweet about it. But, like, right. Let's see what happens. And then I was like, oh, no, they freaking lost. Like, such a big game. Like, I'm watching, and I'm just like, oh, yeah, we're kicking butt. I go to the bathroom and it's just like, oh, whoa, we're losing.
And like on top of that, I want to find one of the first tweets that I put out for last night in that loss to the Heat was Pels are on pace to score 136 points after the first quarter. I'm sure there is no way this could go wrong. I made myself laugh. I think it got like 2 favorites, but what did they score? Like 80 points, 85 points or something like that. Oh.
I was just hurt, and it was just like, man, we played so well, but I could say last night's game, I attribute that to just Brandon Ingram not being like good.
Yeah, yeah. What did you think about the end of that game against the Wizards? Like, I personally, and I put this out on Twitter too, and I'd like to hear your take on it. Is I felt like BI was playing like he felt like he had something to prove to his teammates that like he's the guy, you know, and I think we all know that. I think his teammates know that. I think Willie Green knows that, but it's like a level of, and I don't know BI personally, obviously. Yeah. Never met him. I don't know what he's like or what's going on between his ears or whatever, but to me, that's an indication of a little bit of insecurity. when you're on the basketball court.
And to that point, it may be more so not to prove it to the team because like everybody's telling you you're the guy. Maybe it's to prove it to yourself. And it could be one of those things where it's like, yeah, okay, so think about it like this. Growing up, I've been the man. I go have my stint in LA, which is a disaster. I now come to the Pelicans. I'm a max player, but I'm by Zion, so I don't have to necessarily be the guy. But now I am the guy, and I have to show it. So like it's like I could see where that comes from. And then this is something that is carrying over kind of from last season, his fourth quarter numbers. So it's like it's better than last season, but it's not as good as we want it to be.
Right. And I mean, and the thing about that Wizards game too is they were moving the ball so well. Moving the ball, and they were going through the offense, and in moments where nothing is happening and you're running ISO ball ISO possession after ISO possession after ISO possession, at least get the ball down in the post to JV like once. Give somebody else a touch. It was just so obvious what the plan was and what he was going to do on every single damn possession. Like, and when we've seen him have to force up shots like that the last 2-3 years because the offense sputters and it's like, I don't know what's going to happen. Give the ball to BI. He'll figure it out. And then it's a missed J that was not a good look.
And that's the thing, like, why force it when you have, like you say, that option of JV to where you can just dump it down and just get easy points. And then let's say they double JV, that gets you open as Brandon Ingram and Devontae Graham. It's just, I think the as Willie Green gets to know these players more and as they get to know his system more, maybe that'll come out. But like, we have to play smarter basketball. Maybe that's a thing where we don't have true veterans on this team besides like Garrett Temple.
Right.
So it's like maybe that's the issue, but whatever it is, they got to figure it out how to handle late game situations because this has been our Achilles heel for too long.
Yeah, for way too long. And honestly, I know you say you're holding out hope for Zion coming back, and I think there's a good chunk of the fan base that feels that way, but I don't know what they can do in this meantime while we're waiting for Zion to come back and whatever it is, 2 or 3 weeks, to stay within reach of even the play-in. I don't know where you go from here. And I mean, I said at the beginning of the season, I am one of the more optimistic guys from Pels Twitter, and I'm one of the more optimistic guys in Pels media, I think. I know Ollie is pretty optimistic, and last time we talked, you were feeling at least okay too.
Yeah, I'm in between.
Yeah, I just and it's like the Pels killed the optimism of the more optimistic people in Pels Twitter, and I don't know what to do with that. I don't know how to process it. I don't know how to go forward and find a light at the end of the tunnel because who knows how bought in Zion is? Who knows when he's fully going to be back and how much that'll impact winning because the defense is awful, at least statistically.
Yeah.
And I think the eye test is a little different. I think there's a lot of really good wing defenders on this roster, and that's what's important. Granted, they're young, and Najee hasn't been playing at all. He's been terrible. I mean, oh my gosh, dude.
That's the thing.
I don't know where to look for the optimism.
And see, okay, so let's look at it like this. So Zion, they said, is going to get rescanned like on 24. So I'm assuming, let's say like December 1st, 3rd, 5th, somewhere around there, he maybe can play. Like that's best case scenario. So if you look at the schedule, you go from this standpoint, you go Clippers, Pacers, T-Wolves, Wizards again, Jazz again, Clippers again, Mavericks, and then Rockets, Nuggets, and Nuggets is the December 8th game. There's maybe one Rockets, one T-Wolves, and that's me being nice, and maybe one Pacers. That's me being really nice.
Yeah,
wins in there. It's gonna be rough for these next 2 weeks.
It is, man. And to reiterate, like, I mean, we're adults with other jobs, with other commitments. And I know this week that I have to sit down Monday, Wednesday, Friday and watch the Pelicans get blown out. And I don't want to do that, and that's part of the job description. And it's like I said, and I said it before we started recording, I'm exhausted, man. And it's different than last year because at least we had ups with these downs, like we've had 2 ups so far.
And the thing is, like, this team, and it's crazy you say that about last year's ups and downs, because this team gives you ups during the game, but then they immediately bring you back down. Like, it's like we'll be leading for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden, boom, just down by 20.
Like, every game, every single one.
Mm-hmm. And then they fight back to like 5. And then they still lose.
Yeah. Oh man, and like I think the tough part is, aside from Zion not being available, this roster is better than last year's roster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I'm like this last 24 hours, and a lot more than that, I've had Lonzo stands coming after me, and I'm just not responding to him anymore. Like, I don't know.
That's something that I just don't understand why Pels fans just interact. Granted, y'all dug yourselves that hole. I'm just gonna be honest. I was one of those pro Lonzo people on the media side, but I never. I didn't get in the wars or anything. I said my piece to like Norm, but like other than that. Like I didn't get too involved in it. I just watched it from afar. You weren't one of the bad ones. There's some people out there that like really bad. But like Pelicans fans, we gotta let that go, man. Let that go.
Right. And I said it. I mean, I had a whole podcast dedicating to how I felt about Lonzo, and that people were pissed. And I said it myself, and that if Lonzo plays well this year, like, great, good for him. He wouldn't make this team better, and I'm like the biggest Lonzo guy.
Exactly, he wouldn't make this team right now. Like, we would not be winning if we had Lonzo Ball instead of Devontae Graham.
He makes a good team that extra level of being competitive, but he doesn't take this team to being what they want to be. He doesn't.
Exactly. No, he doesn't, and that's the thing. Like, if we had so granted, like, if the team's fully healthy and you have Lonzo instead of Devontae with Jonas, maybe it looks good this year. Maybe it looks better, but still, it's like, I prefer Devontae's driving, because that's something that this team needs, and he's not really that guy. He's more of the shoot, and his shooting is great this season, but like, I don't think he makes this team that much better this year at this moment if he's on it. But like, I love what he's doing. He's kicking butt right now for the Bulls.
Yeah, I mean, we also know that he was one of the more inconsistent parts of the Pelicans these last few years.
And look, Bulls Twitter can lie like on big nights and be like, "Yeah, Lonzo," but there's these other nights that I see tweets of like, "Man, this guy just kills us."
Right? Yeah. So it's one way or another, and we got John in on the stream like he always does, and says Lonzo's cool but nothing special. And that's pretty much what we're getting at here. I like him. He's a good player, but he's not moving the needle, especially for the Pelicans right now. But anyway, like I said, I'm over it. Did you see my tweet retiring from interacting with Lonzo stands?
You should have been did that, man. Like, it's got to be over.
I know.
Let it die. let it go.
I know. My tweet, for those of you who haven't seen it yet, I honestly thought it was hilarious. I responded to my own tweet, and I said, "It is with a heavy heart that I have decided I will no longer be interacting with Lonzo stands. I can't do it anymore, and it's also not worth it. We're not worth anyone's time." And to them, I say, "I hate your stinking guts. You make me vomit. You're the scum between my toes. Love, Elliot." I thought it was really funny.
Oh no, that is funny.
Thank you. Thank you. Now, I'm assuming you saw the update on Zion being able to play one-on-one in practice and stuff like that. Does that give you any added hope that we're talking about here, that he comes back sooner than maybe what we have been saying in turn? I mean, I've seen people saying, I think he's coming back in January, and I'm not there. I was thinking like Christmas.
That's where I was. I've always been Christmas. I've consistently said, even when Ollie was on this show last time, like when you've come on my show, I've consistently held like Christmas. If it happens before, cool. If it doesn't, cool. And I think, not to like well, I mean, that's what we're doing, but I think more so come the 24th, that'll tell me how to feel. Like, the one-on-one stuff is cool. Like that's good, but that still tells me like Christmas. That doesn't tell me before, like that still makes me think, oh, okay, the Christmas date, it's happening. But depending on how it comes back on the 24th with like him moving to full contact 5-on-5 stuff, that's where it's like, okay, come 24th, if they're saying like he's instantly moving to like full contact 5-on-5, then I could see December 5th, December 8th being a real possibility.
Right. Yeah, I hope so. That's about a little over 2 weeks away. I don't know where I'm going to be at that point in time with how I feel about the Pelican season. I don't know how far they're out of the play-in right now, but
Let me check. I'll check.
I'd look, but yeah, you can do that. But after their last win, I know they were 4.5 games out, and then since they've lost 2 in a row, but
so they're 2-14. The Spurs are 4-10. The T-Wolves are 5-9. The Kings are 6-9, and the Thunder are the last team in the play-in, the 10th seed at 6-8.
Jesus.
So we're kind of far back now.
Yeah. And by the time Zion gets back, like, where are you at with playing Zion if he's healthy in December and the Pels appear to be out of reach of the play-in?
Ooh, see, now we're talking like real stuff, because like the tanking crowd is like getting louder, and like I'm seeing like Paolo coming, let's get him. I'm seeing people talk about Jaden. I don't even know the kid's name. Shout out to my guy. It's like, hold on, I'm gonna look at because my guy Conrad Reed, he's been clamoring for this Jaden point guard. I don't know his name because like I'm not in college basketball mode yet. Like I'm not getting into college basketball mode till like January. Like,
right, and there's time. Right, there's Chet Holmgren out there too.
Yeah, but like, and not that we should be doing this right now, because like, but it's part of the question you asked, but. I don't think Chet Holmgren is the person that if we get that top pick, we better not take him. Like,
really?
I don't. Okay, because think about it. And granted, he's a straight. Like, what is he? He's a 5. How tall is he? 7 foot? Is he 7 foot?
7'1".
7'1". It's tough because what I see Paolo doing is like we need that. Like we don't have someone that can play like Paolo. Like Paolo can get his shot anywhere, anytime. Like that would help BI a lot, but. To your point, Chet stretches, and we do need a stretch big.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be a win either way if you get either one. And that's way out, way out.
Super
and
out.
I had a regular listener of the podcast, Cody Allen, respond to my tweet about
Jaden Ivey's his name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I've heard of him. Respond to one of my tweet. It was a recent tweet about how difficult it is to create content right now. He's like, you could always do a draft, like evaluation of players coming into the draft. I'm like, it is November.
Yeah, we're too far from that. And that's why I'm saying you play Zion at least until February. Now, February, if it's looking rough, shut him down. Like, but you got to play him a little bit, because if you don't, then that just makes him and his parents even more pissed off. Because he's like, because he's healthy, and now it's like we don't want no minutes. You gotta play him. Like, so we're in a rock and a hard place either way.
And on top of that, like, how can you be confident that he's gonna stay in anywhere like relative NBA shape if he's
for months? Like, if you don't play, he gotta play.
Right. Yeah. And so. That's where that concern. I mean, it's the concern of injury. But you're also concerned about his weight. And then what you also start looking at is what if they start winning games and they end up 12th in the West and they get the whatever it is, like 10th overall pick after Zion comes back, instead of being anywhere awful or being in the play-in, which both would be advantageous going forward. So like if they end up in that purgatory, that's like the worst place to be. So,
all right, I'm gonna pitch it to you because I think this is beautiful. I think we found something here. So if you play him and you do get to that 12th seed, I think you look at it as, okay, this team was the bottom of the league. They fought their way up to the 12th seed. If Zion comes back a little bit earlier, they definitely make the play. And so the optics narrative nationwide is better. Now, from a team building perspective, draft part, you're on that, you're nailing it on the head. But this is where Griff got to open up that treasure chest, dog. Like if we get a 10th round pick and you like someone that's 1 through 3, 1 through 4, you got to push them Lakers picks. Even though these Lakers picks are looking good, as Anthony Davis keeps poop in the bed. I love it. I love it. I love it. Let me let your audience know I'm an AD slanderer to the day that I die. I will never. I've changed on LeBron. I've changed on a bunch of people. That's one guy I'm never changing from. I'm like, if somebody was like, Lyndon, if you saw him on the street, you'd know you'd ask for a picture. I was like, no, I wouldn't. When I see his ruffles in the store, I slap the bag off the thing. Like, what are we talking about? Like, I sold it. I gave his jersey to Goodwill. Like, I don't like this guy. So those picks are getting more interesting as the Lakers continue to lose. But if you like someone, you have to open it up. You got to use it. Don't be like Boston. Boston is the
Yes.
example of how to fail at having a treasure chest.
Right. I mean, and they got Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, but they're not going to win a championship.
No one else.
Soon. Yeah. I mean, good for you. You got Al Horford back.
Yeah. You should have never let him go.
Right. Yeah. And you signed Kemba Walker, an old undersized guard, to what was it? Was it a max contract that they got?
Yeah, it was big. And if I'm them, I'm sick, especially now the fact that he's balling in New York. Right. But that's just where he wanted to be. So,
Right. And we talk about this treasure trove of assets, and I mean, Griff has more or less blown it, and he was handed everything. And we've said this over and over and over again. Where are you at with Griff right now? I mean, I know we talked about it a little bit ago. Do you think he gets fired by the end of the season? Do you think he makes it through the season?
I think he makes it through the season. I think his seat is hot, but I think Miss Benson's definitely gonna at least say, "Hey, let me see how it looks with like everybody there," because like I don't know if you can justify firing him when he nailed Herb Jones, when he nailed Trey Murphy, when his star players are out. Granted, he failed on Stan Van Gundy, but he makes it up with Willie Green. Like every time he's failed so far, he's made it up with something that's better. Steven Adams, Jonas Valanciunas, Bledsoe, Devontae Graham. Like you can say Lonzo Satoransky's a loss, but Lonzo wasn't going to sign here anyway, so it's either lose him for nothing or get something. So at that point, you have to say, like, objectively, Griff is not at fireable stance yet. Like I can't, as much as like I don't like the parables, the Socrates, all that nonsense, can't justify objectively saying it's time to fire him because he has done some good things. Like and to John Bodenheimer's point, if Naw or Graham could come off the bench, which their normal role is, especially Naw being that sixth man, then this team would look so much different. Like with our right guys, this team would look so much different. So I can't blame Griff quite yet, but it's hot. It's definitely hot.
And so if Zion comes back and the team is with some like just even remotely close to the play-in, and
that makes his job a lot more secure.
Right. That's for sure. Do you think that Griff makes a play for somebody at the trade deadline? Like, I don't know that. Question. I don't know if now is the time. I don't.
Okay, so for that to happen, they would have to be. It couldn't be that we're 12th. Like it can't be that scenario we pitched before. It would have to be we're 11th at the 12th at the trade deadline with a chance to really like make it. If not, then you can't do it.
Right. Because I mean that'd be making a play off of fear.
Yeah,
trying to save his job, which he could ultimately do, and it would piss me off.
Okay, so if he did do that, and let's say we're like 13th, but like 4 games out, I can maybe accept that because then like that's saying, okay, I believe in this team to make a push. We get the right player in there, maybe. But to me, like you said, I would be more comfortable, honestly, if it was like we're a 12 seed, we're 2 games out. Okay, let's make a trade for somebody that can really push us over the edge.
Right. And I mean, it depends on who that is, too.
That's another thing, too.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know who's going to be available. We're going to have to, I mean, the Pels would have to start looking at teams that are basically in the same situation that they are, that are in effect tanking, but have a veteran player who's playing well. I mean, and my first thought is the Rockets and whatever his name is, that center that played Christian Wood that used to play for the Pels. Like it's similar situations. Obviously, the Pels aren't going to go out and get Christian Wood, but like a situation like that, and I can't think of any off the top of my head. I mean, the Spurs. I mean, obviously, DeMar DeRozan's in in Chicago now. And, I mean, DeJounte Murray, how much is he going to do for you? You know what I'm saying? Like,
There's
don't
no
know.
one really like, yeah, no, that's a good point, especially since Cleveland's like winning. Like,
Right.
Cleveland's a team that you can pick from, but like they're winning. So it's like, oh, okay. Now, granted, maybe the T-Wolves, maybe like some of these teams that are winning early will take a step back due to their schedule getting harder. But like at this moment, I couldn't answer who that person would be. Now, the Kings, that's the team that you poach from because they are a dumpster fire each and every day.
Yeah. And it's been that way for years. Like if Pels can go out and get De'Aaron Fox, like what do you want? Let's go, because that dude is not only an all-star level point guard. I don't think he's been given that award yet because of how bad the Kings are. Yeah. But he's also a Pelican killer. So it's
but he would help this team out a lot.
Yeah, he would. I loved Fox coming out of the draft. I liked him more than Lonzo. Shocker. And I think that, I mean, he is a lot of what I want my point guard to be in today's league in every way. I mean, he is stupid fast, incredible in transition. He's a scorer and he's a leader, and he's been a leader for a terrible franchise. And if you bring him to a team with other talent like BI and Zion, like imagine what that can do. And I don't think De'Aaron's, your second option on a championship team, but you can add him and be a third option, and that's great, and especially to what BI and Zion already do.
And then that's the thing, like if the Kings, because every day, like with Tristan Thompson's coming out saying people are upset, this and that, if De'Aaron Fox gets disgruntled enough, then that's something that like you could offer the Kings a great package for. And I'm okay with him. I'm okay with Hield, because if Zion's healthy and you get Hield, Graham, BI and Jonas, who do you guard? Like, geez. Same thing could be said with Fox. Like, who do you guard? So it's like the Kings is the team right now that would be the one that I think could be the most poachable.
Sure. And they just beat the Pelicans twice.
I think so. Let me check. I think it might be one. It's definitely once.
Right. Yeah, at least once. And maybe they're thinking the same thing. Like maybe we can go out and get somebody from a team. Like
twice.
Twice. Yeah. And so, oh man, as the kids say, the Pelicans, they are down bad. That's just where we're at right now.
We're super down bad.
Super down bad. Yeah. I think, I don't know that there's a whole lot else to talk about. And Pels fans, I'm sorry that this has, not been as positive as we usually are. And, we call it Pelicans Plus for a reason. We try to be positive.
Hey, but we were honest. We gave him that honesty right there.
Right. Is there anything else that you're thinking about the Pelicans? I know, and if you want to hear more from Lynn and I'm going to be on Lynn's show in Lafayette tomorrow morning from 6 to 7.
Yeah, from 6 to 7.
Oh, I don't know if I can wake up that early. But is there anything else that sticks out to you about this team in terms of where they're at right now, how they can get better?
Only thing that I'm thinking is like we gotta. Okay, cool. We playing Herb. We're playing Trey Murphy. I love it. We're playing those young guys. Right. Let's cut the Satoransky minutes out of there. Let's cut them out.
Dude.
Let's cut them out. Might as well give them to Krewe, because I'd rather see Krewe fail than see because I know what I'm getting from Satoransky.
Yes, exactly. It's mediocre at best basketball. At best.
Yeah. Like when I saw them trying to throw a lob to him, I was like what's going on?
Yeah. That's how you know the Pels are down bad.
That's a fact. Like backdoor lobs to Sato. Like what?
And and the other thing that I am, and I mentioned it briefly, that I'm upset about is just how terrible Najee has been this year. And the fact that we all thought he'd be a cheap replacement for Josh Hart, and he's just been awful. Like what? I don't know if he got complacent after he got his full contract, guaranteed contract, or what. But like this
defenses are figuring him out. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it is.
I mean, and defensively, he was awesome last year.
This year, not so much.
No, and I'm disappointing. And I mean,
Josh Hart got married and said y'all thought Najee was going to take my spot.
Right?
Dead.
I got my woman to take care of, right?
Exactly. Look, he's playing great. I got to give Josh Hart his credit.
He is. Josh has been awesome. And
if we're going to say bright spots, like it's him, JV, Herb's the best. Like, honestly, I feel so bad for Herb. Herb legitimately, if Zion was here and this team was winning like we think, Herb would be in Rookie of the Year conversation. Legitimately. I believe it.
Yeah. I think he would be in conversation.
He wouldn't be Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is phenomenal. Evan Mobley is like the reason why the Cavs are there, but he would be in the conversation. That's all I would want for him to be, like, people talking about him. Because right now, the conversation is people who really love basketball, like the Bill Simmons and then those people, like the people, the Ringer, the people like all Bleacher Report. They're like, ooh, draft picks you should look out for that are really doing well this year. Herb Jones, but like It's not like best rookies of the league. That's what it should be.
Yeah, I don't know that he'd be in the Rookie of the Year conversation, but I think he would creep more into those ESPN bits and stuff like that. Like, watch out for the Pelicans rookie Herb Jones.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Exactly.
So.
And look, I'm gonna say this: if he's not the first team defensive rookie of the year, first team defensive rookie team, we riot. We gotta riot.
We will, that scene in Tropic Thunder where Will Ferrell gets really pissed off and goes, "I'll burn your ass down." We have to do that to NBA headquarters. That's what.
No, that is fair. That is really fair. It's like Herb has been killing, man. Like, shout out to him.
He has. I'm excited to see more of Trey Murphy once Zion gets back too.
Same.
I really think that's going to help him a lot. Like, he is a spacing wing and defensive guy.
Until he develops his shot off the dribble, that's all you really want from him right now. Because, like, he plays good defense, he knows where to move, but like he needs the people. He needs the person who he was brought here to play around with. Like.
Yep. So, this whole team does, man.
They really do. Like, and you can see, the crazy thing is you see just how much Brandon Ingram makes this team better. Just wait till Zion comes. Like, we're going to be a different team. Like, that's the positive, fans. Like, I know we said it before, but that's the positive.
And, it's all about where they're at when he comes back. Like, it's just going to be contingent on that. So, we'll see what happens. But Lynn, anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Oh, yeah. Y'all, look, I have a radio show every morning if you're in the Acadiana, Louisiana area, or you can check it on the app. ESPN Lafayette, Rise and Grind with me every morning, 6 to 7 a.m. Also, have a podcast network called the Bros Who Think Network. We have a podcast where we talk about sports, relationships, pop culture, all that, called the Bros Who Think Podcast. We have a movie pod called Bros Who Binge. If you're an anime fan, check out our anime pod, Anime Talk, and you can find all of that at broswhothink.com or wherever you get podcasts. Just search Bros Who Think. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
There you go. Also, and we had a bit of a conversation about No Nut November in the DMs recently because you guys been talking about it on your podcast. I'm a sage and a savage, baby. I'm not going to get into that anymore. But folks, thanks so much for tuning in. Lynn is always a great guest, so make sure you go follow him on Twitter and check out those podcasts. And I mean, ESPN Lafayette, they got stars up and down that lineup, man. That place is awesome. When you got Lynn, you got Scott, formerly G, word with G, and then Norm in there as well. Ton of really talented guys, Charlie as well. So download that app and listen to them. If you're not in market, you're going to be getting great content there, not only from them, but from guests and stuff like that too. So make sure to follow Lynn on Twitter as well. Before you go, make sure you subscribe or follow, depending on where you're listening to the podcast as well. Leave that rate and review on Apple Podcasts. Check out bootcrewmedia.com, all of Boot Crew Media's socials. Follow Pelicans Plus on Facebook. Like us on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube. Drop a comment, drop a like on YouTube as well. Tell a friend about the podcast. And lastly, got to remind you about Hornitos, the official tequila of Pelicans Plus and Boot Crew Media. You need a little bit of that as this.
Hey, that's fire. I rock with that, Elliot. That's a cool sponsor, man. That's dope.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it.
Like, right when you said it first, I was like, ooh, okay. That's nice. Shout out to Hornitos.
Yeah. Shout out to Boot Crew Media, man. That was them. They got that for me. But anyway, folks, again, thanks so much for tuning in. I am Elliot Clough at Elliot Clough on Twitter, and this was Pelicans Plus.